A federal appeals court just blocked Governor Newsom's attempt to reclaim control over California's National Guard. A lot of people are clapping hands on this particular story.
The Trump administration to return control of the California National Guard to Governor Newsom. This comes after California Senator Alex Padilla, you see it right there, was wrestled to the ground and handcuffed by federal agents at an immigration news conference with the Homeland Security Secretary. Matt Rivers is in Los Angeles with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, George. The National Guardsmen continue to protect that federal building there behind me in downtown Los Angeles after a quiet night. But the fight over who is in command of the thousands of National Guard troops that remain in the city, the president or the governor of California, is heating up. Overnight, a U.S. district judge ruling President Trump illegally deployed 4,000 California National Guard troops in Los Angeles. In a scathing opinion, Judge Charles Breyer saying the protests fall far short of the legal requirements of a rebellion to justify a federal deployment. The judge ordering Trump to return command of the Guardsmen to Governor Gavin Newsom by noon today, saying the citizens of Los Angeles face a greater harm from the continued unlawful militarization of their city.
Clearly, there's no invasion, there's no rebellion. It's absurd.
But then just a few hours later, a federal appeals court putting that order on hold after a late-night appeal from the Trump administration, ruling Trump can keep the California National Guard deployed for now.
Hands up, hands up. There you have it. And here's the senator of California acting a straight fool.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary.
This coming after growing fallout from California Senator Alex Padilla's forced removal from a DHS press conference in Los Angeles. We were in the room.
So the crazy thing about this particular story is that an appeals court actually stated that Trump can keep LA California National Guard in place, that they're still under the jurisdiction of the federal government. So this is very important. Now we have judges that are now supporting the president. And at one time, they will always define some of the president's order of revoking some of the executive orders and or laws. But when it comes to the safety and sanctity of California American citizens, the judges are now backing by appealing the revocation and the extraction of those National Guard troops and render the authority back under the state, under Governor Gavin Newsom. So again, this is very important that we understand that the president is still running things. The president is still in charge. And now he has the backing of a lot of the judges there within that jurisdiction. Now, here's one big thing. The Trump administration is ordering 500,000 immigrants from 4 countries, as I stated before, to leave. Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to leave the U.S. in the next 2 years. He gave them 2 years. He even gave them 1 year. He didn't give them 6 months. He gave them that you must leave our country within the next 2 years. These are the individuals who were here under temporary protective status, and now DHS is telling them to pack up. Now, some people are plotting this because in some regards, this is due process. You have 2 years to leave. So you literally have 2 years to get your affairs in order and move anywhere else in the world except for the United States of America. The department even offered $1,000 to anyone who leaves voluntarily. And critics state that this is heartless, and supporters say it's the law. But one thing's for sure, this is the largest deportation order we've seen in years. He's stating that 500,000 people must go. Let's keep one thing clear about citizens of America, American citizens. American citizens come from all different walks of life, creed, backgrounds, religion, race, cultural demographics, etc. So let's have a real conversation today. A deep, soul-stirring talk about what it truly means to be a Black American in a country that's never stopped asking us to prove our worth. They're always asking foundational Black Americans to prove our worth, even after centuries of bold accounts of acts, centuries of blood, sweat, brilliance, and sacrifice. See, we didn't just arrive here. We didn't hop off a plane or a boat seeking a new opportunity. No, we were forced here. Some of us was already here. And those who were forced here, we came here shackled and chained. stripped of names, of culture, of language. But even through the horror of slavery and Jim Crow, we didn't just survive, we built, and we're still building. We innovated and we dreamed. Yeah. Let's take it all the way back. The first railroad built by enslaved black hands, not the Chinese. The Chinese did help build some of the railroads in America, but the first railroad was built by black Americans. The first patent airship, the first patent air machine was patented by a black man by the name of Charles Page, actually 1 month before the Wright brothers. And today we got innovators like Moses West, who created the atmospheric water generator, helping communities the government forgot by creating clean, potable drinking water out of the air. If you guys are not familiar with this man, then you absolutely need to be familiar with him. Because I know a lot of times more people are like, you always showing all these black inventions of old people. What about anything you guys have done lately? Well, this is back in 2022. He makes water out of thin air, capturing the moisture and then generating to potable drinking water. Moses West. What about one of our brothers by the name of Julian Brown? This brother here, this young brother. They called him a 21-year-old genius who invented a groundbreaking machine that converts plastic waste into gasoline. He calls it Plastoline, offering a potential solution to pollution and sustainable fuel production. If any country in their right mind, and I'm thinking China, if any country in their right mind, one, give him the ultimate protection, give him 100 people to protect this man, then two, do a brokering and licensing deal of this technology. He should not sell his technology. He should license it to different countries from around the world. And one continent in particular, which I've been to 3 countries, is Africa. Africa has tons. I mean, everywhere. The countries I've been to, they had it everywhere of plastic waste. And if you guys are not familiar with the process of America, where we send our plastic waste to, we send our plastic waste on ships to China. So if I was China, I would acquire this young man as well and his technology and protect him. Because again, China, again, is still trying to be the #1 country in the world. And if they acquire this young man, they give him some large $1 billion contract and they license his technology, China has megatons of plastic waste in their country. Think about if he licensed with every country around the world, basically turning all the plastic waste that we have in our oceans and our seas and our landfills and people's yards on the side of the road. Think about all the plastic waste. Remember where people used to take those carts in America and you used to see people walking around different cities picking up aluminum cans, and you used to get 5 cents per can and 10 cents per glass bottle, etc. This picture, the many of Americans basically collecting all of this plastic waste, taking it to a reactor that he created, and putting that same trash inside of your vehicle as fuel. Julian Brown. This gentleman is from Atlanta, by the way. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, that is. But our ancestors didn't have Google. They had grit. They didn't have stock portfolios. They were the economy. We're talking about Indiegogo, cotton, tobacco, sugar, hard labor, building buildings, whether it be the Capitol, the White House, the monument. It goes on. Empires were built on Black American backs. And let's be real. If we left tomorrow from America, this country would collapse overnight. Not if illegal immigrants leave, the country would not collapse, but if Black Americans leave, the country will collapse. I know that's going to raise a lot of hairs on the back of many people's neck. From agriculture to aerospace, fashion to finance, education to entertainment, we are the soul of this nation. Yet, we walk through a system designed to ignore us, criminalize us, erase us. We grow up being told we're a problem to be solved, not a power to be uplifted. But what they won't say, what they can't say is Black Americans are not liabilities. We are assets. culturally, economically, intellectually, and spiritually assets to a land we bled for a land we died for. We're not asking for a seat at the table anymore. No. We built the table. We carved it from the trees we cut down, and yet we are the ones expected to carry the moral weight of a country that still refuses to reconcile its sins. So let me be clear. We are a unique people. Our struggle, our journey, our nation within a nation is unlike anything else on this planet. Just like every race has its distinctions, every race has them. Every race has its distinctions. Black Americans have our own. We are foundational, not just a part of the American story. We are the beginning, the middle, and will be the future. And because of all of that, many Black Americans do not support the exploitation of our struggle by aligning with movements that sideline our issues. So the answer is clear. No, don't expect us to march in ICE protests for illegal immigration when we're still fighting for basic human dignity. Do not expect us to march and protest in anti-ICE protest for something that is illegal to the laws of the country that we help and that we foundationally built from the ground up. So no, do not expect us to march in anti-protest to keep people who are illegally in the country still demanding clean water, quality schools, affordable health care, police accountability in a nation that we built. And I get it. We built the foundation, and there are Irish and Scottish and Hispanics that came over and built later. But when we're talking about who built those first roads, who laid out the infrastructure outline of America, who did some of the slave breaking, back breaking work? Foundational Black Americans. And let me be very crystal clear. We love this country, but we also hold it accountable. We love this country, but we also hold it accountable. We can defend it from enemies. At the same time, we can demand justice from its systems. We are not a burden to this country. We are an uplift and a rise, and we're the blueprint of this country. So I know a lot of people are not going to take kindly to this. I understand. But you're dealing with a different type of people here. And believe it or not, those people are foundational Black Americans. We're not better than anyone else. We're just different.